No, don't fight me. Welcome back to Rundown and Broke Down. It is a Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. I've been working night shift at the shop. We're going to be starting off this episode just a little bit differently than normal. So, before we hop into the car, we are working on the Trans Am. We got to hop into how I fix my shop vac so that I don't have to use that little piece of crap anymore. So there it is. You'll notice I wired in a different switch, and that is because the Chinesium switch, which you can see here, a whole 37 cents, wasn't working. And I was fairly certain it was the switch. I was right. Shop vac works now, so we can finally actually vacuum out the car like I've been wanting to. And we can vacuum all the crap off of the roof. And then, after that, I can hit it with a wire wheel, clean up that metal, give it a little bit of paint. Other things we're going to address, we're actually going to tune the carb with a vacuum gauge today. Because I drove my truck, so it has my vacuum gauge in it, in the glove box, because I didn't bring that last time. And then after we get the carb properly tuned, we'll play with the timing a little bit more. Still don't have timing light. Yeah, that's on me. Also, I bought this battery. As you can see, it's a side post battery with a carry handle, because that is horrible to get in and out of there, and you pretty much have to avoid crushing your fingers. And I can finally give Neil back his battery. And then short of that, once we get the roof cleaned up, and that's warm. Once we get the roof cleaned up of all that crap and vacuum out the car, we still need to address this front caliper. I have to get the bleeder screw out of it because it's not bleeding. Well, it's not that it's not bleeding. It doesn't turn at all, so I can't bleed it. But fear not, I did buy an assortment of bleeder screws, so we should get at least close to the proper bleeder screw. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and hop into the work. Alright, vacuum. I've explained the basic principle of vacuum once already. So instead of harping on that, we're going to talk about how to tune the carburetor. So you got 3 basic screws you can adjust. You've got your 2 mixture screws there, and you got your curb idle screw there, which actually controls your transfer slots. Too far open, it's going to diesel. Too far closed, and you're not going to be getting enough ported vacuum right away. You want it to be just where as you crack the throttle, you see the vacuum gauge move. And there's a reason I'm talking about all this before doing it, because you're probably not going to hear much of it once I actually have the car running. Oh yeah, I still need to address that fuel filter. I'm sure that it's not good. Anyway, there is a couple different ways that, throwing a blank. There's a couple different ways that you're going to check vacuum. Now, there's your ported vacuum and there's your manifold vacuum. Manifold vacuum, as suggested, comes off of the manifold. Ported vacuum means it comes off of the carburetor above the transfer slots. So that one should be manifold. I think. I still need to replace this one because I completely forgot about it. I need to get more vacuum hose. So, I haven't worked on this model of Quad-Jet before, just the one that was in my truck. I need to find ported vacuum. I don't know. You look like ported vacuum. And you probably are. If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably a chicken. With my luck. So we're going to plug that in there. And we'll know if it's ported vacuum or not because you will watch this gauge stay still if it's ported, or maybe it'll hover around 1 or 2 if you have the transfer slots too far open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the car started. I'm also going to get something to plug this vacuum leak that I've created. You always want to make sure that you're working with little to no vacuum leaks when you're tuning the carburetor. So we're going to take one of our countless screws here. We're going to see if it fits the vacuum hose. And it does. Now, can't remember if I already talked about this or not, but carburetor tuning. You want to tune your idle air mixture. Or not your, you just want to tune your, so you want to tune your fuel mixture. This is what you use. If you have a O2 sensor and it tells you, what your AFR is, great. If not, you want this guy. This needle, you don't want it at 0. You don't want it 5, 10, 15. You want it as high as you can get it. And you want to go off of manifold vacuum. So for manifold vacuum, that looks like as good a manifold source as any. Even though that's water crossover, isn't it? Yep. So you want to go off of manifold vacuum, which got to find a manifold vacuum source. And where's a good source of manifold vacuum for this car? Well, I know of a great source. We are simply going to take this. We're going to trace back this line right here. This line is for vacuum advance. Alright, so I got that screw in there. And you can see right there, I got it threaded into the vacuum hose, so that should make a good vacuumed, or a good seal when I'm messing with this thing. So let me grab a screwdriver. And I'll pull this car out. That way I'm not messing up the inside of the house or getting exhaust all up on the inside of the house. And I will just go ahead and set you there for the time being. Allen wrenches. Yay! Alright, so because this has been sitting for a week or so, I'm going to have to crank over the motor, build up fuel pressure. So, because there's nothing, there's no fuel. There we go. There's that belt that I need to replace. I forgot about that. Yay! Money! That way it comes off the choke. Wow, it's not any better. Here, I'll stand in the middle. I'll let the car come up to temp. That way it comes off the choke. That way I can actually tune the carburetor. Muffler is blowing at the back. Engine's loud at the front. It's all sorts of wonderful. So I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so it's been a few hours. I was actually helping Neil unload a tire machine. He decided to go buy one. And with that, we decided to play with it a little. And we actually did swap out that rear tire for a gooder tire. I won't say good, because it's not. But it's better. It's not going to explode. Hopefully. As you can see, that's not where we want that. So let me go ahead and I will adjust the timing real quick. What I'll do is I'll put this up right here. And you guys tell me then she's closer to where she should be. Alright, I don't know why it stopped recording there. So I just got the carb dialed a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to disconnect the vacuum gauge from that port, hook it up to a different one, and hook our vacuum advance back up. Sitting right at about 12 inches. We want more than that. Want that needle to be as steady as you can get it. Now, unfortunately, just from the way that this is set up, oh wait, this will probably help. Yep, I gotta plug that. But right there, 17 inches is pretty good, so I'm gonna get something to plug that real quick. Plugged, we're sitting at 17 inches of mercury. With the way that this gauge is kind of crap, it's probably 18. So let's see if we can get a little more out of her. We're sitting right about 18 inches of mercury. And that's a very nice, healthy, steady idle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and back the timing back down a little bit and see how it reacts. degrees, so probably 17, and it's idling real smooth, real steady. Now, it could still do with a set of plugs and plug wires, but this is what we're going to get for now. Uncap this vacuum line and plug it back in where it's supposed to be. Take out this gauge, and you could hear how big of a difference the vacuum leaks make. It's kind of why I harp on it. Always take care of your vacuum leaks. Real headache. This is why there's supposed to be, at least to my knowledge, a top for this air cleaner sitting underneath the shaker, because stuff can still come up right into your float, or right into the top of your carburetor there. So we'll go ahead and see how much difference an actual carb tune gave it. It's idling and running way better. Brakes feel a little better too. I still haven't bled that one caliper. I'm still gonna have to re-bleed it. Oh, it made a definite difference. Yeah, with the timing and the car being a little more happy, it made a big difference there. And I felt the 1, 2, and 3 right there. I also tripped the tire a little bit. Alright, so we know what we have to vacuum. And I gotta get all that crap off of the ceiling. I gotta get the dust. I don't know how well you can see that right there. Yeah, I gotta get that dust out, which means I'm gonna have to pull off that trim. The camera actually zooms really far. That's kind of nice. So I'm gonna vacuum all this crap out that was left by the rat's nest, and then all the crap that's just kind of hanging on there. I can't tell if that's paint or... Actually see some bare spots of metal. Huh. I'll be damned. But we're just gonna really kind of go through this. We're gonna try and clean it up. Get a little bit of that rat piss smell out. I tested the vacuum. It sucks a lot. I actually forgot to put the filter on, so I was like, oh, I'll just pull the top off. No, you don't pull the top off while it's working. It doesn't let you. And that's pretty good for a free vacuum, so I'm not complaining. So because I don't really have kind of like any good place to put this, I think I'll kind of just leave it right there. Yeah, I'll put you right there so you can kind of watch it. And it's gonna be loud, so I'm not gonna be really doing a whole lot of talking. I'll kind of get in like the little nooks and crannies and I'll show you that. But here we go. It doesn't work now. I'll be back. Yeah, it's gonna take a lot to clean up this metal. It looks like it's almost like it's delaminating like plywood does. But this thing works way better. You see what I mean about metal. I can't wire wheel that roof. Can't do it. Yeah, you can see just how thin it is. I mean, it's literally crumbling apart when I touch it. I put the slightest bit of pressure and you can hear the metal cracking. I mean, this entire section is probably gone all the way up front. I would have to completely cut that out. Thankfully, the roof itself is solid. But I can't wire wheel that. I can't do anything with it. It's beyond saving. And I don't know if they make a pan for that, a patch pan. I don't think they do. Which means I would have to find a donor car and cut that section out of it, graft that section in, or put in a piece of sheet metal that's bent in just the right amount. I mean, it's not just there either. It's there too on the headliner support bars. Yeah, that's gone. That's almost gone. That's better. This is a little better, but it's way too thin. Like, you can see the structural difference the farther towards the rat nest I get. And it was right here. So I can't wire wheel that. It's gonna crumble apart, it'll be gone, and I won't be able to attach the headliner to it. So I can't do anything with that. I also need to get an air compressor or something into these channels here so I can blow out all the crap. I don't have an air compressor here. Not giving up. Just reevaluating what I'm gonna have to do. Because my options are donor car. Don't have the money for that right now. Patch pan, also don't have the money for that right now. A different piece of sheet metal, because the only thing I actually need to retain is this. All of this, besides that part, even then I'm sure I could graft that in if I spent the time and the effort for the headliner support bars. But I don't have the time for that right now. Just I don't have the space for it. I gotta get this car moving, because if I don't, car's got to go somewhere. It's currently at my mom's house, and she's going to New Orleans, so it can't stay here. she's moving to New Orleans, I should say. So it, it can't stay here. I got to be able to get it running and driving enough to where I could drive it about 20 miles to where I would park it. And then I can do, some work on it here and there from my place. Not much, but I can work on it some there. Not supposed to. But, yeah, I can't do anything with that roof. It's gone. I might be able to save 1/2 of it. Or I should say 1/4 of it. Because the back section, there's nothing wrong with it. Back section is perfectly fine. I'm willing to live with a little surface rust there. Because I can clean that up. That's not a big deal. I can clean that up. But I can't clean up metal that isn't there. You can't clean it. It's gone. It's gone for good. There's no saving that. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do anything with that. I was able to get most of the crap off of it, though, which is good. But, unfortunately, some of the roof came with it. So I guess we'll get the tires swapped around. I gotta move that other tire. Both were wrong to begin with. The tire that was on there was a 225/75, and it's supposed to be a 225/70. And the spare tire that was also in the trunk on that Dakota wheel is also a 75. So I gotta swap it to the front, that way I don't eat up that posi. I can still do mechanical stuff, like, well, mechanical and electrical. I can get, the trunk popper working. I can get the, sorry. And get the spark plug wires, spark plugs, do that kind of stuff, but I can't go any farther on the roof. There's nothing I can do about that. Not right now. This just keeps going up in the dollar value. It'll get there eventually to where it's finished. But that's the thing with project cars. That's the thing with old cars that have been sitting for a long time with rat's nests and shit like that, is the more you touch, the more you find out you shouldn't have touched it. But that's life. So, I'll focus on what I can do. Oh yeah, I can try and fix the ground for the blower motor controls. Actually found a problem there, so I gotta try and fix that if I can. And I'll just kind of clean up the rest of the car. Maybe I'll go get a temp gauge, throw that in. That way we can actually see the car's temp. I mean, I don't think it's overheating. I think I would have found out by now, but it's good to know the vitals of the engine. And I'll look over and check the factory temp sensor and oil pressure sender. Just kind of see what's going on with that. See if I can figure that out any. So I will be back in a minute. Alright, so it's been a little bit. I got sidetracked. I was doing something else, talking to my grandpa. But we're going to move this wheel to the rear, move that wheel that's a little bit larger to the front, just so we don't eat up that posi. And while I'm in here, since I'm going to have the wheel off, I'm going to replace that bleeder screw. So we'll go ahead and break out our tools here. DeWalt, send me free stuff. It's expensive. Actually, anyone send me free stuff. Everything's expensive. I like stuff that's free. You're not the 3. So you're the 3/4. You guys are 21s. You guys don't exist because you have strip studs. And you're also the wrong lug nuts altogether, so. You're the right lug nuts for a different wheel. I still need to get a lug set, but I haven't yet. It's like $70 or something. It's ridiculous. The reason we gotta swap out this leader. Oh, don't be a warped rotor already. But the reason we got to swap it out is because this caliper doesn't engage properly. So, seeing as how that is now vice grip size, because a wrench doesn't really work on it anymore, we're going to break out vice grips, change out the bleeder. Which they are here. Those are the ones I want. Come on. Oh, don't tell me you're seized. Don't tell me you're not vice grip size. I'm gonna set you right there. Close up these grips a little bit. And it's just chewing the surface. Wonderful. Oh, don't tell me it's seized. I don't want to buy another caliper. Some larger vice grips. They'll bite a little harder with more leverage. Or they won't. You know, just chew up the surface and mar it to hell so that it never comes out again. There we go. Now I'll be back again because lots of bleeder screws in my truck. Alright. Bleeder screw assortment. So we're just going to dump them all out onto the ground. That way they're dirty. It matches the car. And what we're going to do, we're going to pull this bleeder screw out. Yeah, that doesn't look good. And we're going to compare them. Find the one that's closest, which actually I think I found it. Make sure that threads, if you don't have a thread pitch checker and you need to check a lot of bolts, line the threads up together. You probably can't see it very well, but if they line up together for a majority of the threads, a good majority of them, you have the right bleeder screw. And you make sure it threads in. I left more tools in the truck. I did bring this drink though. It's cheap and it's tasty. I lied, they were in the garage. And if we don't get this brake caliper back together, we're gonna lose the garage. It's up there. Now it's down there. Oh, you're not even what I was looking for. But you are something I need. New bleeder screw installed. Now we can actually bleed the brakes. And we got the vice grip size one out. As you can see, wasn't faring too well with life. Do I have a second one? I probably don't, because it's an assortment. No. No. Maybe? I think I do, actually. Interesting. Because it's Dorman, you know it's going to be cheap, and it's probably not going to work. No offense, Dorman, but step up your quality. It's really not good. Now to see if I left the vacuum bleeder in my truck. I probably didn't. Lo and behold, it's not in the truck. Where is it, you ask? I'll tell you. In the trunk of my car. I'm an idiot. So, you know, bring the right tools the first time. If you're going to be working on something that's not at your house or your apartment or wherever. Yeah. I could probably clean up that one stud. Get it to work. Probably lop off the end of it a little bit, make it shorter. But I don't want to, so I'm not going to. Yeah. Anyway, let's inspect our work. Since you couldn't see me putting it in there, there it is. There's the puddle I've created. So, we're going to take this tire, which is betterer than the other tire, put it on the rear, and to do this, you know, you need two hands. So of course I'm going to use two hands because I don't have anywhere to put you. Literally nowhere. Ta-da! It's on. I did it one-handed. I didn't cheat. You're a liar. You don't know. You weren't there. Okay, fine. I did it two-handed. I mean, you feel kind of boogered up. By kind of boogered up, I mean you're not turning like you should. Yeah, you're kind of boogered up. You can go in the boogered up stud. I mean, I'm going to have to knock out all these studs anyway. because I'm not going to put crap lugs on good studs, and I'm not going to put good lugs on crap studs, because then we're right back where we were. You don't want to make it to the finish line. Find out it's the start line. You know what I mean? No? Okay. Just trust me. Ah, you worked out perfectly. Because we need you. Handy dandy 21. And 4 out of 5 ain't bad. So now, before I drop the rear of the car, I gotta finish the front of the car. Because the front of the car, as you can see, is supported by the jack, because I'm lazy and I didn't want to do it with that stand. So I'll be back with the wheel in a second. Actually, what I will do, note to self, cut this out. Aha. Ta-da! If you notice, this isn't a Coupe Cobra. And if you notice that, good job. See, I don't think you've seen into the trunk, but there was a Dodge Dakota rim back there, which was somehow same pattern. 475, weird size. And I did that just perfect. But it was back there. And because it was back there, and because it was free, and because Neil just bought a tire machine, I took the Dodge Dakota wheel and tire, and took the other wheel and tire. That was much worse. King Star. Yeah, anyway, I swapped those around because, yeah, this one ain't great. It's better. It's a 19-year-old tire, and the other one was, I don't know. I don't know how old that other one was. But this tire's better. Shit. Why? Every time I do this, another lug strips. You know, 3's good enough to drive on. 2, however, is not. Tune in later to a new rotor. Not today, though. Why? Why do you hate me, God? I shouldn't blame God. He had nothing to do with this. Was it DeLorean? John DeLorean's ghost, maybe? Do you hate me? For those of you who don't know, yes, John DeLorean worked for General Motors. Yeah, before the DeLorean. And for that cocaine vest. I remember why I had the 5/16 out. I gotta go to the parts store. That's why I had the 5/16 out. It'll make sense later. Anyway, put the car back on the ground. Pretty much never want to have to use these on a car. With that being said, I've used them a lot. You can't see it. I'm giving it like foot long humps every time. And it's slow as shit. It just now touched the pumpkin. And that, kids, is how we don't do wheel and tire swaps. Because that number is different than that number right there. That's the percentage number. So what that means is your width. That number represents 75% of the tire width to the sidewall. So 225, 70% would be roughly 180 mil. So 180 mil sidewall by 225. I don't know how good my math is on that one. I haven't eaten today. I'm a little dehydrated and I'm hot. So anyway, we're gonna have to go to the parts store and get new side post battery terminals. Yeah, I gotta return those. They aren't mine. But they'll be right. The new ones will be. Yeah, we're putting more of the right parts back on the car. And that's the direction we want to go in. So with that being said, I'm going to continue doing a lot of things wrong for the time being. Well, I finally bought one of those little side post wrenches. I got it in the car now. Got the battery in the car. Battery box is gone. It's literally being held in with hope streams and plywood. Not enough of any of those. All right. So I think that's going to do it for this episode. We tuned the carb. We got the timing backed off a little bit. It's idling real happy. We fixed the brake caliper. Unfortunately, we still have the roof problem. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about that yet. We got that bad tire swapped out. By bad tire, I mean the worst tire swapped out. So it should be a little bit drivable now on the street. Got the shop vac working. I'm going to have to get a different switch for that. Just because that one isn't working the best. And I know what's wrong with it. At least I'm fairly certain. Yeah. There's still a lot that's going to have to be done with this car. But we're making it. We're slowly making it. I still need to get plates. I was supposed to do that today and it ended up not happening. And I'm going to have to get new front rotors, or at least new studs, pound them out, put new ones in, which is great, which means I'll end up doing wheel bearings while I'm in there. But I think that'll do it for today. So thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends if you want to see more. There is going to be more stuff in the future. There is stuff that me and Neil want to film, and we just haven't had a chance to yet. I'm actually going to talk about that later to him tonight, and we'll see where we go from there. Because there is more than just a Trans Am we want to work on. There is something real cool and real rare that we want to work on too. But all that being said, thank you for watching, and yeah, I'll see you next time.